Hey everyone, it's a busy time of year and I'm on the road, so it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. We just wanted to get one out. So it's been a really chaotic week. Trump announced, Liberation Day and tariffs in force for most of the world and in China especially. And markets were predicting a huge recession. It was going really bad. You had contradictory statements from the White House. Howard Lutnick, who seems to be very pro-tariffs and also very stupid, appears to want to say that no, there is not going to be any pause, and this is going to go into effect, and these tariffs are a good thing, which they are not. And Scott Bassett was no, the president wants to make a deal, so it's not clear what was going on in the White House. Trump has been pro-tariffs for a very long time. Trump simply doesn't understand tariffs. You see the way Trump talks about tariffs. Trump talks about tariffs in a way that tariffs will achieve three things. He says, we'll fix trade imbalances, add revenue, and will protect strategic industries. Those are contradictory in the sense that tariffs can, in theory, although I dispute it in practice, tariffs can, in theory, produce one of those outcomes. You could protect an industry, you could also balance unfair trade, and you can collect revenue. But you can't do all three of them, because in order to balance unfair trade, you have to remove the tariffs once the agreement is struck. And if you want to correct for trade imbalance, then you have to leave the tariff. And if you want to collect revenue, then you have to leave the tariff. So they can't all be true. And none of them are really true. Tariffs would be a disaster for the economy. We don't make enough stuff here. The way Trump has been handling his tariffs in power is just not the rule of law as we've come to expect it in Western democracies. There's two reasons why we have the rule of law. Firstly, that a king cannot just decide willy-nilly to kill someone, throw someone in prison. There has to be laws that are predictable. And the other reason is that you need to have something to rely on. You need to be able to say, I'm placing an order today, and since laws take a very long time to change, I don't expect that when this order arrives, I'll be hit with a 30%, 100% tax in it. You can say we're messing up China, but the fact is that if you ordered something 3 months ago and now you're paying 100% more than what you ordered, it's just you that's messed over, right? And sure, the knock-on effect might be that people might order less from China, but in the meantime, you're messing over Americans that are hardworking Americans, and it is not patriotic to subsidize faulty industries. It's not patriotic to pick someone to have make work. It is not patriotic to subsidize the corn industry and make everyone fat. What is patriotic is to create the system in America where you have nothing stopping you from making it on your own in the free market. All right. So those are the criticisms of Trump. But what changed? Because he put this 90-day pause and he kept the things on China. And what it seems to be the only plausible explanation is that Trump heard two opposing opinions. He likes tariffs, I think, in general. I think he's wrong about them. But I think Trump responded to what the voters are saying. I think Trump heard the people that put him into office scream that this is not a good idea, that this is not what we want, that this is not what we want you to focus on. And I think he heard it. And so even though I give Trump very low grade for his whole handling, and even though I give Trump seriously low grade for his understanding of economics, it is very impressive that he responds to criticism, that he responds to the market. Biden never did anything like that. I haven't seen any president do that. They just seem to stay the course. Who had this great line about someone had this great line about Bush a few years ago that he sticks to his guns. He'll do on Wednesday what he said on Monday, regardless of what happens on Tuesday. And that is severe criticism. To say that someone can't bend, to say that one can't respond to feedback, what a terrible thing. What a terrible thing not to respond to feedback. And Trump deserves a lot of credit for responding and for pulling back. And when someone realizes they made a mistake, especially a leader, that's impressive. Even if he's pretending it wasn't a mistake, and even if that's how they're spinning it, but it's still impressive it's still good to walk it back. And we have a very low bar for leaders, but it's still impressive to walk it back. Now, I did hear what Kevin O'Leary seems to have a very strong position on China, that they should be tariffed, and that they steal IP. Now, I've known about this in China. I'm very skeptical about any sort of trade war, but since he is so vehement on the point, I do plan on doing some reading on the topic, doing some more research. I do want to understand from a libertarian perspective how one ought to view China and actors like that. I don't have the strongest belief in intellectual property in the way I think many people do as a libertarian, but I'm definitely open to hear that. I want to look into that a little bit, a little deeper. So, we'll definitely do an episode on China. I really hope to listen to the Dave Smith and Douglas Murray debate. I've been listening to Dave Smith for a very long time. He's certainly not pro-Israel. He's very good on a lot of topics, and I'm interested to hear how that debate went, and I will be giving my review. That'll do it for today, guys. Sorry for the short episode. To all my Jewish listeners, have a good Yantiv and good Shabbos, and see you soon.